This is The Way of Fairness. My name's Stephen Childs. I've been watching some videos that are movies from Philip K. Dick and researching, studying, listening to his interviews and comparing it with my experience. I'm also bipolar and I have precognitive dreams. And we have the tendency to go beyond where the people were that were before, progress. And so I'm also at the same time doing some deep dive research into narcissism, toxic abuse. So I found an excellent resource on Spotify, Inner Source, Toxic Abuse. It's Deborah Ashway. There's 52, I think, on there now. And she explains it in a very effective way for me. So it's an addiction. So these people are addicted to having other people under their control. And if they don't, they go into withdrawal and they're in pain. They're in pain from not being in control of other people. They get into fear and they get horrible insecurity. It's when if you leave a narcissist, they will get somebody else that they can control as fast as possible. And she explained how they want narcissists, and it's also cults. The episode I listened to first came from a search on cults and narcissism, and it came up. And so narcissistic abuse and cult abuse is the same. If you're trying to leave a cult, and if you're trying to leave a toxic person or narcissist, your problem is the same problem, whether there's a group of people or just one. And if you look at the people in the cults, they're narcissistic people that are at the lead of that. Okay, so it's an addiction. They have people under their control. If they can beat you up emotionally or physically or mentally, and they're the victor, they get their high from being victorious over you. So that's what the addiction's about. Now, there's two other areas what this ties into, and one of them is spiritual experience of humans and the formation of religion. There seems to be psychedelics involved from the get-go. The oldest caves of northern Africa with the animal that they worshipped, and there's drawings of the sacred mushroom. And so the people are getting the spiritual connection and creating the God stories from a psychedelic trip. This is what people are starting to think is true. And so it might be necessary for some people to go there and practice that original religion so that we're doing it in a good way. So the Church of Fairness is we're trying to stop all unfairness worldwide with the World Fairness Agreement. And so that's the basis of us delving into the spirit world. To do that, to get the people on the right track, the track of fairness. We're off the track. We're on the wrong trail. And the disaster will follow. And you can see this warning in religions all over the place. If we're not devoted to I'm just going to call it truth and fairness. I'm an atheist. If we're not devoted to truth and fairness, then a disaster is on the way. Okay, so the wrong track is when narcissists are in control. And they're finding out there's a connection with UFO appearance and UFO abduction and experience, UFO visitation like I have, alien visitation rather, and narcissism. So there's like the narcissistic aliens that are addicted to having us under control. They don't want to kill us because they need us to, so they can control us, because that's what they do. Okay, so the Philip K. Dick stories, I got to go back to that now. He's had experiences in his mind, and he stayed true to Christianity. I left it. And it's like he went through heroic lengths to try to keep that together in his mind. I don't even try. I was identified with older religions, and I've got a strong connection with the Aphrodite mythology, and like went through the phase of like glorifying the troubadour, and romantic love was the most important thing in a man's life, in my life. And now I got through that. I wanted to find out what that's all about, and now I'm asexual. I don't want any sexual feelings, so that's over with. And but the reason I bring that up is he's explaining in one of the videos how in the one world he saw, that's a Christian-based world, it becomes really hellish, dystopian, iron prison world. And then the other one was, we're still off the mark. We're still not doing well. And in that world, he's trying to get closer to the world where Christ returns. And he talks about a lateral time instead of chronological time. It goes sideways. So in the sideways creation of events, it can be right where you're looking. Like, for example, you're looking at my shirt's red, and then out of the blue, you have no idea how my shirt became blue. So that's a sideways change in our reality. Instead of chronological, past to present, it's sideways, it's right angle. Okay, so he's talking about experiencing a better and better world by going on a right angle and moving into a world where there's a different tree that's in this world, but the world is better that we're in. So we want to move into a parallel world that's a better parallel world. And so the idea is that all the worlds shift to the positive. And with that having been said, and having watched the episodes on him going into other worlds, like unaltered world type fiction that he wrote about. So what I'm seeing with my own eyes is, I've seen it with 4 people twice. I don't know if there's a significance for that. Both times it was people entering a cafe. And I see the people, and I don't, they look, I'll tell you what happened today. I see 4 young women walk in, and they sit down at the table, and I'm drawn to this man sitting in another booth. You know how you're drawn to look at someone? And when I look at him, I hear telepathically, watch. And so I was like, wide eyes, paying attention, just watching around, and what am I supposed to see? And I glance at those 4 young women again. They're older women, 4 older women. And it's like they told me in advance that there was going to be a change. So it went lateral. There was a change, not chronologically. There was a change. It would be, I don't know, maybe it would take, if you could actually see it happening, it might take a quarter of a second for them to, like, an AI generated picture changes into someone else. It would be like that. Or it could just be while I'm blinking and it changes instantly. So who is it that's playing this game with us? Who's doing it? And do they actually change those humans from young people to old people? I don't think so. What I speculate is the case, how they do this. It's a change in our mind. So they have control over what we experience in our minds. It's our minds that create our experience. So there's sense data that comes in from whatever source, hearing, sight, etc. And our brain creates the world that we experience as a representation of the real world. And I think there is a real world there. It's kind of like they're causing a hallucination. So how much of this world we experience is a hallucination caused by these aliens, some of which are narcissists? They have formed a human cult on the planet that's trying to break everybody into being dominated by them. And maybe they've got everybody under control except for me or you. And so what's going on with me is I have this horrible telepathic attack. And they're trying to get me to stop speaking the truth about my experience, like I'm doing right now. So the extraterrestrials that give telepathic thought, I just call them all ETs or aliens or extraterrestrials, sometimes other dimensional. They're unknown minds that can communicate with me telepathically. Some of them are not narcissists, they're altruistic, and we're working together for a better experience. They are glad I'm making this video right now. And I'm just hearing from the other side, the other track, shut up. They always want me to shut up. They don't want me to talk about this stuff. They want me to keep my mouth shut about it. And they want me to let them run the show. They're narcissists, you understand? They want to be in control of me. The typical narcissist wants attention, so they'll say anything to get my attention. It can be a lie. It can just be some absurd threat. And they want admiration. So, like if I was cowering in fear, I would praise the Lord. You guys are wonderful. I'm with the Lord, and so I'd be admiring of the Lord, that kind of thing. And then they also want power. So if I become afraid, so I don't dare do anything, then I'm powerless against them, and they have all the power. They've taken my power from me with fear. So, and all of this is so they can control us. Their main object is to keep us under control. That's what cults are about. That's what narcissists are about. And if you see through the cult leaders, the cult people, and criticize or disagree, they're going to try to destroy you in the same way that they're trying to destroy me telepathically. So it's like a telepathic cult that I'm fighting against. And they're allowing me to see their ability to change my imagery of the world by letting me see people change form. And I seen this happen many years ago, and it was the people that came in the restaurant, I had never seen them before. And then after I sitting there a minute, you can kind of feel a change in the energy. And it was some people that I know. I know who they are. I grew up with them. So those people are servants of the people that are in this telepathic gang. And they have already surrendered to it. And I wonder if I'm the only one that hasn't surrendered to that telepathic, narcissistic, telepathic cult. I don't know. I made a comment that things fell into place, and I made some comments about the Fight Club, Charles Manson, bully, rape cult. With Manson, it was murder people cult. But there's a lot of this going on, and I can see the women are fighting their own way against being under control. And if a woman's completely under control, someone could rape her and she wouldn't be able to say anything about it because she's under control to that degree. That's what we saw going on with Brett Kavanaugh being put on the Supreme Court. The accusations that he had raped or something to that effect, and the woman struggling to tell the story, to tell the truth that she remembers that happened to her. If they can put false imagery in our mind, like they make me think 4 young women walked in my mind, but it wasn't 4 young women that walked in, it was 4 older women that walked in. So I was being shown a waking dream caused by them, or a hallucination caused by them. And somebody's got to talk about this stuff. They're trying to stop me. They've tried for years and years to break me. And I've been true to myself, and I've researched control freaks, narcissism, cults for a long time now. And I'm doing what the altruistic psychologists, psychiatry teachers that have learned about our mind, about the human being, the psyche, the whole self. Some people call that the soul, the whole self. Carl Jung called it the psyche. So they're trying to help people get free from a life of misery being controlled by a narcissist or a cult. There's the leading expert on cults. He wrote a book about Trump. I can't think of his name right now, but he got freed by the Mooney cult by his family that are Jewish. So he went back into the Jewish religion, which is also cult-like in its control. And so is Christianity, and so is Islam, and so are some of the religious sects in India. There's one cult leader after another in India that's keeping people captured and using people sexually. This is like the typical story for humans, to have some group form that tries to break everybody's spirit into being under control and being part of it. And when they get recruited into it, then they break other people's spirits. So it's like this desire to conquer the world thing going on. So, we've had a lot of warnings. Maybe the aliens are not friendly. Maybe they're like humans, and they're going to try to conquer our world. Well, some of them are. And then these others that are warning me about them and told me that there's a war against the cult ones, the cult aliens. There's a war against them. They have to surrender to my guidance. So in my dream experiences, they've chosen me, and they're telling me that I'm the only Christ. Well, that's their business. They say they know what my identity is. Well, I'm Buddhist. I don't think I have one. See what I'm saying? I don't think there's any permanent identity. That's the way Buddhists believe. There's not a permanent identity, a permanent self. So I like to say that Buddha has all of this under control, because then I can be atheist, and I can also be practicing this wisdom of not being ruled by desire. So when you stop being ruled by desire, those that are addicted to controlling you with desires, they're in withdrawal. And it's been an eye-opener for me to be able to turn down all sex and to see how much there's this cult mind, cult, alien cult, telepathic controlling thing going on with them, using them. And it's like Buddha was right. Desire is the cause of suffering. I think that's true. So I did it. I got the video made. It's getting dark now, and the light's starting to go away from my video. I had to jump in the car because I couldn't get set up at the place where I'm at. It was too noisy. So I'm on a little back road that's got a cul-de-sac, so that no traffic noise is going to be here and whatnot. So anyway, it's interesting. I'm wondering if buildings are appearing that weren't there, and they're playing a game. They had them hidden with trailers and stuff. And so was the building really there before but hidden, and why were they hiding it? There was a friend of mine who had a dream that the Mormons, I'm an ex-Mormon, they had a UFO and it landed and it became one of the LDS buildings. Well, She said all of the cars were white around the building, this building that was actually a UFO on the ground, disguised as a building. And all the cars were white. And as she's telling me her dream, 10 cars in a row were white, one right after another, like they were all driving together. It's like they had been arranged by Buddha. I like to say Buddha has all of it arranged, and depending on how detached you are from desire, it determines on what the quality and the quality of your experience. So Buddha had all these cars arranged. He had them telepathically get their cars lined up in a line and drive in front of the coffee shop right at the exact time that she's telling me all the cars were white. It's really trippy. Have a great day.